And then I told a joke when I was in Chile and somebody laughed at my joke in Spanish. Learning Spanish has actually helped me in other areas of my life to feel more confident. It's a journey. It's not like either or, bad, wrong. That instant bond when they can, switch to their native language. Yeah. So jump in no matter where you are. Just give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Those two together were just very enriching for me.
Hola a todos. Welcome to Conquering Spanish, a brand new podcast brought to you by Spanish 55. I'm your host, Tanya Roman, and we're thrilled to announce the launch of this podcast as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Spanish 55, an online Spanish academy dedicated to helping adults in the U.S. speak Spanish confidently and fluently. This podcast will feature incredible guests, our very own students and language learners who have overcome challenges in their Spanish journey. They'll be sharing their personal experiences and, along the way, offering valuable tips and takeaways from what they've learned. Each story will inspire and guide you as you continue on your own path to conquering Spanish. And for our very first episode, we are honored to welcome DeAnna Pursai. DeAnna has been part of the Spanish 55 community for 10 years and has grown and succeeded in amazing ways. As the co-founder and executive director of the College of Adaptive Arts, she's created an equitable and lifelong collegiate experience for adults with disabilities. DeAnna's achievements have even earned her recognition as an architect of change by Maria Shriver in 2015 and as a CNN hero in 2022, which is wonderful. Join us as we chat with DeAnna about her inspiring journey and how Spanish has played a key role in her life. So let's dive in. Welcome, DeAnna. We're so excited to have you here today.
Oh my gosh, it is absolutely my pleasure. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today.
We really want to hear more about your story. So why don't we just start with having you tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you're from?
Sure. I'm DeAnna Pursai. I am originally from Bluffton, Indiana. I grew up in the Midwest in Indiana, had a lovely childhood. I have a sister. Her name is Angel, and she is almost like my twin. She's 16 months my junior, and she's brilliant and vibrant and an amazing individual. She happens to have Down syndrome. So she never had a chance to go into college as I did. And we were involved in a theater troupe for children with special needs back in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so that's been my life growing up. So fast forward, I got my undergrad and master's at University of Illinois, came out to San Francisco Bay Area, followed my husband's job in engineering, and has co-founded a college for adults with disabilities so that they can learn at their own pace and rate as long as they have an interest.
That's amazing. So your sister has been an inspiration for you throughout your life. Can you tell us a little bit more about the College of Adaptive Arts?
Sure, of course. Yeah, and that's really that my friends at the college are the reason why I really was interested in learning Spanish. But yeah, it's a unique model where it's not a day program model. It's not a care focused model. And so it's a college model. So just like any adult out there that wants to go to college, aspires to go to college after high school, these adults also aspire. The way the accredited system is set up, they're not able to access because of the requirements of test taking, reading, writing papers. So we created our own model of college where we set those things aside. So if you Zoom or come in person and you have a desire to learn, you get full credit at our college. It is a privately accredited model right now. We're building our own system of accreditation, and our long-term vision is to be a model on every college campus around the world to give access to adults with intellectual disabilities who are hungry to continue learning and growing.
That's wonderful, because I think life has so many opportunities that just need to be unlocked. And I think that's wonderful that you're providing a lot of people with this opportunity, just as language unlocks a whole set of experiences, opportunities, and whatnot. So
yes, absolutely.
So how could you tie in what you just told me about the College of Adaptive Arts and your motivation to start learning Spanish? How did that come about?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our earliest students and families happen to be native Spanish-speaking families from Mexico, and they, very very quickly became dear friends of mine. One of our families, the mama is on our board of directors. She was on our board of directors for many years. And I just really love and appreciate the parents, in particular of these adults, because they believe in their children, even past age 22 when education has stopped. They haven't given up on their children. They're beautiful people and fierce. And so it was really important that I learn to converse with them in their native language. So, yeah.
You mentioned this contact with Abraham. Was that your first experience in learning Spanish, or had you tried beforehand?
Nope. Very first experience. I had taken a leadership class, and I definitely have always known that I've wanted to learn Spanish. And so he was kind of the impetus behind it. I did, at the same time, purchase these Pimsleur CDs, which are lovely.
Yes.
Yeah. And so back in the day when I was driving around, I would listen to a lesson during the day and practice my Spanish. And that was beautiful, because then at night I had a live human being to converse about what I had learned during the day. So those two together were just very enriching for me to really jumpstart my journey in learning Spanish.
Right. And I think, taking what you mentioned with this method and, having your lessons in Spanish really leveraged what you were doing, because sometimes it's difficult when you just learn vocabulary, you learn pronunciation, but you don't have an outlet for the words to come out. Right?
Exactly. So that was just huge to really have that sounding board twice a week in those early days during my foundational times, to help my brain process.
Right. And so you've been working with a couple of our coaches. I know you've had different experiences with each one. And so I'd like to hear more about the goals that you have accomplished since starting your Spanish journey. You mentioned that you wanted to, talk with the families a bit more, and I'm sure you've achieved that. But what other things have you achieved?
Yeah, I'm really proud to say that we now have Spanish tours at our college. Yeah. We've had English tours for many, many years. And so there's a demand for Spanish tours. And so that's been helpful. And I've been trying my best to help lead the tours. We have a native Spanish speaking professor on our staff, but I just love to be able to converse. It's still not fluent by any means, but I learn each and every day from the families. And I do know that I think they appreciate me trying to speak in Spanish and communicate with them.
Yes. About how many people take these tours?
Well, we just had our first formal tour with one family where we really codified the system, and now we're going to do them once a month. We have 230 students at our college.
Okay.
And probably 25 to 30% are Spanish speaking to some level. We have a Spanish class at our school, and actually early on during our Spanish class, one of the coaches zoomed in and introduced himself to our students at our college. So that was really beautiful. So the tours have been huge, and just, being able to, when family members from random people come into the site and they say, "Do you speak Spanish?" I'm like, "See," it's you can see their level of relief and just that instant bond when they can, switch to their native language. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned something very important, the bond. I think not only does language help us communicate, but it helps us, share a little bit about ourselves, about our values, our culture. So when you find somebody who speaks the same as you do, you really feel that you can connect on another level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe that my relationships with the families that I originally bonded with all those days have really transformed to a different level now that I'm, speaking in their language. I've learned from them, and it's just a richer conversation.
Definitely. And where would you like to go with your Spanish learning? What other goals would you like to accomplish?
Sure. I will tell you, I was really proud. My husband and I were able to go to South America in April and May to Chile and Bolivia. And I couldn't believe, because I had taken a little bit of time off, and how quickly it came back. And I realized that I've got to use my Spanish for the next 2.5 weeks. And it just was amazing how my brain transformed, and just, I kind of became one of the leaders for translation, which I was so proud, because I never considered myself, a translator by any means, but it was just glorious. So my goal is to become fluent and become, totally bilingual. As I travel more during this chapter and visit Spanish-speaking countries, I would like to, really become fluent and fully bilingual.
That's great. And, being the translator of your group, what an honor. And, congratulations, because, translating means that you have to think in both languages and go back and forth. And being able to do that is a testament to just how far you've come. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was very, very broken, and I could tell by the Chile and Bolivians, natives' faces that I certainly was not getting all the words right, but we must have got our point across, so that was a good thing.
Yes. And what other countries would you like to visit?
Well, I visited Spain, and that was really beautiful. And I'd love to go to all the countries in South America, and of course Mexico. So right. I've got my Rotary pin on. I'm a big Rotarian in 2 clubs in the Bay Area, and we get to go and do rotoplast trips, abroad, where we're there repairing cleft lips. Okay. Around the world, as well as delivering wheelchairs. So I'd really love to go to Mexico City. I would just love to do that. And Peru, I would love to go to Peru, and Argentina. And, I just love to travel.
All right. So we've talked about your goals. We talked about all that you've achieved, but we know that learning a language isn't linear. Right? It has its ups and downs. Some people could compare it to riding a roller coaster. So now I'd like to talk about how you've navigated the challenges that you found along the way in your learning journey. What have they been? And what advice would you give students who face these?
I would say I only still understand probably 60, 70%. So, the challenge is just, being able to orally decipher, the sounds and stuff. And so that's always been a challenge. I can read a little bit, but it's mostly just conversational. And just the, intimidation factor of just feeling, overwhelmed has been a challenge. But I would say, for advice, just ask questions, keep asking questions. It's amazing how people kind of will you into wanting to help you learn more. So instead of retreating back, just leaning in and being able to laugh at yourself, because I make mistakes all the time, and just kind of turning it into a joke just a laughable moment really helps just to, not feel stressed about it, but just kind of jump in and ask questions and try your best and keep, it's a journey. It's not like either or, bad, wrong. It's just like, you just evolve and grow. And the more you just lean in, it's amazing.
Great. And so you mentioned the word intimidation. When you're working one-on-one with your coach, you create a safe space and you feel like you can make mistakes. But how do you face that in the real world? In the real world, at first, it's a bit daunting because we're really scared of what we're going to say. How did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think that, maybe just the older you get, just feeling comfortable with yourself and just not needing to prove anything, but just having that mindset of inquisitiveness, of that lifelong learning model. You can teach me something. And just, having that growth mindset of, I don't have all the answers, I'm not an expert, and we're just all learning together, and just giving yourself permission to make mistakes in all areas. It helps to relieve the stress and just know that it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay, I think we should really think about that because we are very hard on ourselves sometimes. Especially when we learn a language, we want to be perfect, have the perfect pronunciation, use the right word, but it's a process. And if we don't, let ourselves speak and be out there and put ourselves out there, then we'll never grow. So those words are really valuable, DeAnna. So my next question is, what has surprised you the most about learning Spanish? Besides, the progress that you have noticed, is there anything else that has surprised you?
I guess just not surprised, but it's so refreshing when I speak with people in Spanish, how it just the chemistry and, just the bond and just like, wow, we're all learning together, and it's not a one-way channel where I can help people learning English and Spanish. And so it's just when I've been traveling around, it's just been so refreshing for people to help me and to be friendly and to encourage and to not judge. It's just been so enlightening and endearing as I'm on this lifelong learning journey and meeting the best people around the world. It's really quite a blessing, and it's encouraging, and I think it keeps my brain, a different component of my brain, very active and stimulated. And the older I get, the more I appreciate that. If you don't use it, you lose it. And
Exactly.
So this is really, very much something I look forward to with my lessons. I'm learning, and it might just be a little bit. It's not a linear process. Life is not, so sometimes you think, oh, I'm just going backwards. I can't learn it. I can't do it. And then all of a sudden you thrust. And it's just amazing, these little tiny breakthroughs you have. I remember early on when I appreciated the first joke in Spanish, that was like, wow, I got it. I think they were telling a joke. And then I told a joke when I was in Chile, and somebody laughed at my joke in Spanish.
My goodness.
Yeah, and that was also just kind of like a really cool breakthrough that takes you to another level. It's really great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You definitely know you're progressing when you can, understand the joke and tell the joke, because language is so nuanced and, humor is, so particular that when you're able to do it, it's like, aha, I just unlocked a level.
Unlocked. Yeah, it is. It's like unlocking that next level, and it's just glorious. But, just knowing it's not an either or, right, wrong model. Life is not. And I think in my world of working with persons with disabilities, that is a lesson we've always been learned. We've been taught by them is that, let's celebrate the little tiny wins, because they're super, super important. And it's not necessarily crossing the finish line, but just, inching our way forward little by little as much as everyone can.
Of course. And you said something that I really want to stress, taking the little steps and recognizing those, those small goals that we've reached, because we sometimes see, oh, I'm starting out at A1 and I want to be a C1. We see it as it's something so far away, but if we see it as, stepping stones, once we look back, it's like, wow, I've gone through all this journey. So definitely it's important to acknowledge these small steps that we're achieving. And you mentioned also that learning Spanish keeps your brain young, and that will lead me to what I want to talk about next. As adults, we often think that learning a language is out of bounds, that we're not able to do it. If we didn't do it when we were young, then forget about it, right? But I think you are definitely proof and testament that you can learn a language at any age, continue learning, and it's wonderful. What other myths do you think have been dispelled through your learning journey?
I think the whole concept of what the imposter syndrome, and I think a lot of young people have it, like, wow, they're going to out me, that I'm not as good as somebody else, just realizing that we really all kind of have imposter syndrome. And I think the more transparent and honest and just, a little bit of vulnerability, like, I don't know, can you help me? I forget this word. And even in English, it's helped me to say, I don't know that word. Can you please explain, instead of faking it, right? Like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, when you don't. And I think people appreciate the authenticity of just asking questions. So learning Spanish has actually helped me in other areas of my life to feel more confident and try things that, wow, I probably wouldn't have tried. I actually have been also learning to play the guitar little by little. And I'm a school teacher by trade. So I truly love the children's songs. And so I've been kind of intersecting learning guitar and Spanish and the children's music, the bilingual children's music. And all of those have kind of helped me, like, wow, this is totally fun. And I'm learning some skills, and, just giving yourself permission to not have these artificial goals. Like, well, if I can't play this song by this month, then I'm a failure. Like, it's time to just push those mindsets aside and just really celebrate the journey.
That's definitely something that we have to do. Celebrate the journey. And you mentioned the word fun. It's a word that we sometimes put aside, and we think that everything needs to be very serious and no laughing, no fun. But I think it's what helps you learn the best when you have fun.
Absolutely. Joy. Yeah. And it cements all the silly mistakes I've made. I'll never forget the time I was in Ensenada, Mexico, on a Rotary trip. And I was trying to say, can I sit here beside you? And I said, can I sentir? And she was like, she kind of got red, and she's like, I think it's sentar, and we laughed and laughed and laughed, and now I'll never forget the difference, but it was just funny. Those are kind of the best teachable moments, when you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, just as you said. So DeAnna, do you use any other tools, resources, or do you like to watch movies to help you out with your Spanish?
Yeah, I love the children's music. Jose Luis Orozco here. He lives in the Bay Area. He is my hero for the bilingual children's songs. I love that. I love just watching like TED Talks in Spanish, YouTube, and just, going into Spanish. My teachers are trying to help me to get plugged into some Spanish serials, Casa de Papel.
I guess, La Casa de Papel.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to do that. I love Ted Lasso in English, and so I'm trying to see if I can somehow figure out how to listen to the series in Spanish. I just heard about Sesame Street in Spanish, so I love that stuff. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. And for a long time, I would actually listen to the Spanish gospel station up in the Bay Area because I realized they speak slower. And it was just more like soothing. So it was a religious Spanish station I probably listened to for like 2 years, a radio station, and that really helped as well.
Okay. Know, we find inspiration from, the most unexpected places, I would say. And I'd like to go back to what you said about Jose Luis Orozco. Is that right? What do you like about him? What
do you not like about him? He's amazing.
Tell us more about him. I think we'd like to know.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's a Grammy award-winning bilingual children's musician. He lives in the Bay Area. I have sang with him on stage. That was like a very awesome day. And he's like the leading, he's the thought leader in America, in the United States for bilingual music for children. His songs are amazing. And they're just very, very simple, but they're inclusive and they're gentle and they're kind and they're hopeful. And the songs are amazing. Amazing. Yes, I would highly recommend for anyone, but particularly if you have little ones, it's just a beautiful way to celebrate life. And, his songs are so sweet. But he is the leading musician in the United States, or maybe he has been. I'm a little bit dated now, but when I was a school teacher in the school system, it's a lovely way for children to learn through music, whatever you're learning, whether it's another language or not. But his songs are amazing. Al tambor de alegría es excelente. También Paz y Libertad, it's mi canción favorita.
Paz y Libertad?
Sí.
Okay.
Paz y Libertad. It's the best. We need that theme now more than anything before. That is a beautiful song. So many of these children's songs are really just for grown-ups as well.
I think we can put some links in our show notes to have other people discover, what you're passionate about, Jose Luis's music, and, hopefully help others, in this journey. I think we're going to add that, and a lot of people would appreciate it.
That's amazing.
Definitely. And so we've come to the end of our conversation, DeAnna. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with those who are listening to you, who are language learning enthusiasts, they might be learning Spanish or anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, I mean, I'd say jump in. I'm just an old lady that, thought I was over the hill and I'm not. So jump in no matter where you are. Just give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do want to say thank you to Spanish 55. It really was Abraham who found me through, I think I put in my hobbies in LinkedIn that I wanted to learn Spanish. So how he found me, it was such a blessing. And I've had like 4 teachers over the years. And I really appreciate how much they'll customize the lessons based on my needs. So, I want to learn to connect with families. I want to give tours at my college. And so I really appreciate how flexible and convenient and affordable and customizable the services have been. It's been a pure blessing. And so I wish Spanish 55 all the success in the coming years because they've truly changed my life.
Thank you so much, DeAnna. It's been wonderful having you as a student.
Muchísimas gracias, igualmente.
Thank you so much for joining us today and listening to DeAnna's incredible journey. Her dedication to not only mastering Spanish, but also using it to enrich her life and the lives of those around her is truly inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to Conquering Spanish so you don't miss out on upcoming stories like this one. We've got more inspiring interviews, practical tips, and fun language learning content coming your way. You can also check out Spanish 55's website, where you can book a free introductory consultation. Link is down below, and follow us on social media to stay tuned.